What's up, guys? You're too old to be a musician. No, it's not true. Spoiler alert, that's not true at all. My name is Kev Rowe. I'm a playlist curator on Submit Hub. On Spotify, I have a huge playlist network of over 17,000 followers. These are all active people who listen to music every single day and are obsessed with music as you and I are. So you're a musician, and you're living in this amazing time to produce, write your own stuff, record in the studio, get on social media, distribute your music through Spotify, and share your message on social media. Maybe you create YouTube videos, maybe you make TikTok videos. I mean, what an incredible time to be an artist, right? But there is that kind of nagging feeling if, let's say, you're over, 25 or even 30, that you're too old to be in the music business. Now, later in the video, I am going to go deep into what aspects of old you should not be. But we'll get to that soon. Yeah. The age-old stereotype, you're too old to be in the music business, it has been crumbling now for, 20 years. There's so many, it comes down to one thing. There's a need for good music in the world. And if you can make it, it doesn't matter how old you are. Like, many times, let's be honest, it takes experience and years of developing to be able to make great artists, or to make great music. Like, all the producers that I know that are really great, they're over like 50, some are over 60. Like, you got to spend years and years and years working on your craft to become good at it. So the idea that you're too old to be in the music business is just ludicrous. Let's bring this back to Submit Hub, since I'm a playlist curator there and I spend all my time there. I listen to music all day long that is brought to me by people who are all ages. Everyone from, 13 to 90 years old are sending me music. And it's all in a wide range of production value, performance level, songwriting complexity, musical complexity, genres. Like, I'm getting stuff from everyone in all ages, all the time. So yeah, the age means nothing. Now, the one thing I want to strike home here in "you're too old" is if you're sounding old. Now, that's the one thing that bothers me. Like, and what I mean by that is somewhere in the music making progress, you have not evolved your production style or your writing style or your performance style to a level yet that sounds new and modern and relevant to what the world needs to hear right now. So it is absolutely possible for you to sound too old, and that's at any age. Let me give you some examples. So sometimes I get submissions from, let's say, a 17-year-old who is working on old gear, listening to vintage music from the 60s and 70s, and working with their band in the garage, and then they send me stuff that sounds real outdated because all their influences are outdated. That's a young person that sounds old. Not good. Unless you're going for a very specific genre. Like, there are exceptions to every rule, of course. Like, sometimes sounding old has its place. but not in terms of production value and not if you're looking to get mass appeal for your songs. Here's another example. Sometimes I'll get a 75-year-old man who has been spending his time slowly getting better over years and years and years. Maybe in his 20s, he was working hard in the bars in his town, and then he evolved into some studio production things. Very, very low level, though. Nobody knows who he is. Then in his 40s and 50s, he became an obsessed singer-songwriter. He's just writing and writing and writing. And then in his 60s, he's met all the experienced people. And then by his 70s, he makes an incredible album with great songwriting, great performances because he knows what he does best, and great studio production because he's been slowly meeting people all these years. And all of a sudden, this 75-year-old man sounds young because his music sounds young. He's modern all of a sudden. Like, he made all the right decisions. So, is it possible to be too old? Absolutely not, but it is definitely possible to sound too old. You want to sound relevant, and that means great production, great performances, and great story, great songwriting. So don't fall, if you're out there and you're feeling like you've missed your window, absolutely nobody has missed their window in today's music world. Anyone can have a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. Anyone can have a resurgence or a rebirth or a renewal of their music. If you love music as much as I do, which I'm pretty sure you do, then you can absolutely dedicate yourself to it at any age and get into the studio, meet the right people, maybe work with a young, if you are in your 60s, 70s, maybe you should work with a really young producer who will bring something fresh to you. If you are 16, 17 years old, even in your 20s, maybe instead of working with someone who's in your 20s, work with someone who's in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who's a studio producer. I think that's an amazing combination, actually. And I've always worked with people who are older than I am to get the experience from their years of hard work in the studio or on the road. Like, these people have put blood, sweat, and tears into their whole lives. Like, and not only them, all their families and friends have sacrificed in order for them to get where they are now. It would be like ridiculous if I didn't learn from their skills and experience. Yeah, so let's talk more about putting a team together. When you go into new projects, whether it be a studio project or a new band or any time when it's going to require more than just you, really focus on diversity in both ages and experience and skills and tools, and try to get as many people who are great at things that you are not so great at to be a part of your team. In fact, it reminds me of that thing where you should always be like the worst musician in the room, because then everybody else is going to raise you up and make you better over time. If you're the worst musician, or if you're the best musician in the room, I wouldn't stay in that room very long because you're going to be teaching everyone around you what to do, and they're not going to be raising you up in some way or another. It's probably another video, and that's kind of a pessimistic view on things. Of course, you should teach others. But yeah. Oh, that reminds me of another thing. You should have like 5 people above you in skill and 5 people below you in skill. That way you're learning from the 5 people above and you're teaching the 5 people below. Yeah, let's go with that. That's much better. But yes, of course, you're not too old, But you can sound too old. Try not to sound too old. That's a pretty big thing. So I want to hear your music on Submit Hub. Go submit to my stuff. This is how you find me. My Submit Hub channel is called Americana Country by singer-songwriter Kev Rowe. If you've been watching these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Go check me out on Spotify. I've got 150 songs and 10 albums on Spotify. I think right now I have 16,000 monthly listeners and growing every day. So yes, hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. You're not too old, man. Just get to work.